What's up YouTube? My name's David. And today we're going to hop on a trend, but for good reason, I promise. If you're like me, you binge watched the entire part 1 of Stranger Things season 4 in a day or two, and within that binge you were reminded of how iconic the 1980s could sound. And of course in the following weeks online you were reminded again and again how iconic the 1980s can sound by seeing clips and edits primarily of Max from Stranger Things going through her trauma this season. Of course, accompanied by the song of today's discussion, the absolute nostalgia-inducing classic that is Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush. Right before we get deep into all of this, I have a very important question for all of you. Immediately upon hearing this song come up in early season 4, I remembered telling myself, where else did I hear this? I just heard it on something prior. Maybe it was a series, maybe it was a YouTube video. I cannot remember for the life of me where I had heard this song, because when the song came on, immediately I was like, yeah, I know this. So if somebody could, I don't know, do some psychic stuff and tell me where I heard that song, that would be fantastic. Anyways, back to the point of today's video. Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush debuted in the summer of 1985. It peaked at number 3 on the UK charts and number 30 in the Billboard Top 100 in the United States. Pretty good, but nothing crazy compared to a number of other timeless songs out there that have charted at the top, although this one fits perfectly into the category of sleeper. A song that did well when it came out, but kind of disappeared, but then it was revived and given a massive amount of new life years later. With this song being used to build Max's story for the first part of Stranger Things Season 4, and ultimately being used as an actual plot device, as well as the backing music for one of the most intense and memorable moments in the show's history, this song was bound for mainstream resurrection the moment this season came out. And actually, that scene, spoiler alert, had Max running up her own hill, and with the knowledge in hand that Stranger Things is not afraid of killing off important characters, I was watching that scene like, oh, okay. She's good. Whew, she's good. Okay, yeah. Following Stranger Things Season 4 release, Running Up the Hill charted number 8 in the UK and is the most streamed song in the world on Spotify at the time of filming this right now, even beating out Harry Styles' new album, which is pretty crazy considering most of the girls I follow on Instagram are proclaiming their devotion to Harry Styles daily, So why is this song addicting? Why did Stranger Things decide to use it? And why do I love it as well? Let's dig into this a bit more and learn how Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush is taking over the world at the moment. In the beginning of Season 4, we see Max a bit shaken from the happenings of the ending of Season 3. She's often disassociating by wearing headphones and listening to music to avoid conversation. Bit by bit, though, we are shown that she's listening to the song Running Up the Hill by Kate Bush. This is where we can discuss one of the first important characteristics of the song itself, the instrumental. Immediately upon starting, this song screams 80s ballad with this anthemic, plodding drum and bass sound. So that's nice, but your ears are just as soon met by this really distinct sort of electric throaty cello synth. Or however you want to describe it. It induces nostalgia, but it also makes you feel like the song might be a bit sad, although we're going to need a bit more context from the vocals to decide what the mood really is here. And then, the vocals. Kate Bush. The verses tell a story that sounds a little culty at first. Maybe it's hyperbole. I think that's actually accurate. I'll explain that in a moment. She has an interesting approach with her music and the song specifically. Maybe it's because she's from the UK and I'm not, but I think her pronunciations are very ear-catching and important with the song's success. In stage acting, musical theater, drama, show choir, and even regular choir, it's often taught that you need to overpronounce your words for them to cut through in a way that is casually understandable for an audience. The same can be said with how to evoke emotion with a listener enjoying your music. Kate Bush's vocal delivery in this song is seeping with drama. When you mentally isolate her vocals and think about them, it seems that she's being very dramatic with the way that she's pronouncing things, with these big, wide, swoopy vowels. Make a deal with God. That big She's not saying God like a Midwesterner like myself, would normally say she's saying God, which is like a big, much wider, more dramatic way of saying the word. And she does this with a bunch of words in this song as well. Almost like she's putting a bunch of umlauts over things. So it might seem a little excessive in an isolated manner, but taken in context, this drama she puts out with her voice, it fits perfectly with the rest of the song. And it really helps portray the story that she's trying to tell. And I think that's so awesome. Now let's get down to some technical aspects of why this song is so effective, so successful, and why I like it so much. During the verse, she often harps on the 7 of the minor scale that's being utilized. This gives an almost complete and tending towards resolution type feeling for the listener. To me, it actually sounds hopeful within the minor context. She then transitions to using the major 7th of the relative major scale in the chorus, which I love, because I love a good major 7th. It's a bitter and sweet surprise within this context. It evokes a feeling not of sadness, but almost a longing for closure. And at the same time, the major 7th of the relative major scale happens to be the 2nd of the minor scale that this song is centered around. So either way you look at that note whenever it appears, it always ends up being on the edge of resolution, a theme. She's using the 7s to avoid sounding too major on the relative major side of things and too minor on the minor side of things. This really induces a sense of longing, almost like the sound is dancing on the edge of where it feels like it should go, but it never actually goes all the way there. The 7s really stuck out to me in this song, but there is something else about the chorus that is especially beautiful. If I only could make a deal with God, get him to swap our places, be running down that road, running up that hill, running out that building. I'm not sure if she intentionally wrote it like this, but if she did, she's a genius. In the second half of the refrain, the part where the song title makes an appearance, she did something really cool with the relationship between the melody and the lyrics. Lyrically speaking, each of the last 3 lines start off the same, but they all diverge to different, unique endings. At the same time, melodically speaking, she is mimicking the path that the lyrics are traveling. Where the same lyrics are repeated, she is repeating the same note in the melody, the 7th of the minor scale. Running down that, running up that, running out that. But when the lyrics diverge, she changes to a unique pitch for each one. Running down that road, running up that hill, running out that building. What a beautiful symbiotic relationship she created between the lyrics and the melody there. So cool. So, is this a sad song? No. This song is steeped with a sense of longing, but in an optimistic way. This is accomplished by centering the song around a minor key, but highlighting more positive aspects of that minor key while subduing the negative ones, primarily by avoiding the minor thirds. She also utilizes the major 7th of the relative major scale in the melody to avoid making the major part of things sound too positive and too major. Because if it did sound too major, it would contrast the minor key more, and it would make that one sound darker or sad in comparison. Instead, she danced the melody around the melancholic aspects of both the minor and the major to keep things more ambiguous. This tonal ambiguity is super ideal if you want the song to feel more melancholic, nostalgic, or dramatic. These are all emotions that aren't necessarily happy or sad in a binary way, but they exhibit and appreciate qualities of both sides in a very deeply emotional way. And lastly, the octavized vocoder at the end. It reminds me of one of my favorite Banks songs. Shout out Banks, one of my favorite artists. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's completely unnecessary but hopefully enjoyable, thorough breakdown of the iconic Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush. If you did enjoy it, I would really appreciate a like on this video and consider subscribing to my channel for more videos like this in the future. So thanks for watching, and as always, until next time.